So some time ago, I made a video about Cars, the video game. And that video blew up. It got like 10,000 views in a month. Wait, hold on, let me start over. So some time ago, I made a video about Cars, the video game, and how it was one of, if not the greatest movie game of all time. And it was definitely really good. The story was really funny and had a lot of charm. The exploration aspect was really cool and interesting. The minigames were all really fun and neat additions to the game. And the extra side content was all of those things. The racing was low-key kinda mid, but it wasn't all bad. The positives for sure outweighed the negatives. And on top of being such a legendary game, it sold relatively well. Across all versions, including the GBA, DS, and PSP versions, sold around 8 million copies. That might not seem like a lot, but considering that this is an obscure tie-in movie game made by a semi-obscure company, it's actually really good. And that's certainly a lot better than Wreck-It Ralph on the Wii. And with this game's decent success, and most likely the movie's crazy success, a sequel to the game was released. On October 29th, 2007, Cars National Championship came out on the Wii, PS2 and 3, Xbox 360, and PC. Wait, not even a year later? That's kinda worrying. If you didn't watch my last video, one of the goals during the development of the first game was to make sure that it didn't fall into the stereotype that most movie games fall into, that being rushed, budgety, shovelware crap. The fact that this game came out not even a whole year after the ports came out means that this game could actually fall into said stereotype.
You have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Alright, so this video is going to be structured like the last one. We're going to look at the story and the gameplay and find out if this game does indeed fall into that stereotype. So let's get into it. So before the video begins, I just want to get one thing out of the way. Unlike the first game, this game's story isn't split into chapters, so I'm going to make my own. In the first game, every chapter ended with a piston cup race. National has something similar called stadium races, so the end of every stadium race will start a new chapter. Okay, now let's start. We open up to Mater yapping in front of a camera about an event that Radiator Springs is hosting called the Mater National Championship to celebrate the grand opening of the Radiator Springs Speedway, a new racetrack that's currently being built. Famous race cars from all over the world are coming to Radiator Springs to meet McQueen and race on his new track. Sound familiar? Alright, now that the intro's done, the story actually begins with Lightning, who almost runs into this guy. His name is Philip, and he's British, which is why he's on the wrong side of the road. This guy is just Red Fletcher, you can't base him off another British car? Philip, being in Lightning's presence, is absolutely starstruck. McQueen tries to tell Philip that in good old America, you drive on the right side of the road, not the left. But Philip, still being starstruck, thinks Lightning is offering to give him a racing lesson. What? Fred overhears them and is just as overjoyed and starstruck that McQueen is offering to teach them. Oh yeah, Fred's in this game. He wasn't in the first game, so it's nice that they put him in this game. They even used a joke from the movie where Fred's license plate is his name and celebrities reading it so Fred can say that all these famous people know him.
Hello, Fred.
You remember my name?
Next, Doc comes by and is all, "Get off my lawn!"
I'm also the town doctor, so calm down, son, before you rupture something. Then I gotta fix you up.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
Then Barry overhears them and wants to join in. Wait, Barry? The fuck is he doing here? Why is he not with his posse? Anyway, Barry gives Fred and Philip the idea of racing around town instead of taking a lesson from McQueen. And after some hesitation, Lightning and Doc agree to race them. Holy shit, that was a long cutscene. Alright, next McQueen and Mater go to Luigi's shop to find him and Guido in Italian colors. McQueen's stupid ass thinks they're dressing up as him, but they're actually dressed as Giovanni, one of the competitors in the Mater National. Giovanni is the champion of the European circuit from Italy. He's basically Francesco, but not Francesco. Then Giovanni's dumbass thinks Lightning is dressing up as him. Jeez, is everyone fucking stupid in this game? Luigi and Guido, loving Ferraris, are absolutely simping for Giovanni and want him to kick McQueen's ass in a race. So Lightning comes up with the idea of forming teams and having a relay race, which I'll get into later. Alright, next we meet Sheriff by Sarge's boot camp, where he pulls over this German fella named Otto. Otto is also competing in the Mater National and is looking for a place to practice. He's a champion of Le Cars, which is based on the real-life Le Mans 24-hour, I hope I said that right, which, as the name implies, lasts a full 24 hours. In fact, when McQueen challenges him to a race with only 3 laps, he mentions how easy that is since his average race is much longer than that. So yeah, a very nice little piece of racing trivia there. Alright, after the race, Otto wants a rematch, and oh my fucking god, this part is not real, just watch it.
That was a good race. But now let us race some more.
Wow, again? You really like to race. Stupid! Maybe you should take a break, see the town.
No time for seeing. Only time for racing.
Yeah, but don't you think you should get a souvenir while you're in town? Do you have a girlfriend back in Germany?
Yeah, she is called Jenny.
Well, there you have it. You can't go back without a nice gift for Jenny.
Nein, Jenny would not like that.
No, she wouldn't. Luckily, Lizzie's Curio Shop is just down the street. All the souvenirs you could imagine. Just tell her Lightning sent you.
Danke schön, Lightning.
Anytime. Be sure to ask for the full tour. Oh, and about Stanley. And about how things are different now than they were in the old days.
Okay, what the hell did I just watch? Okay, first off, McQueen is not like this at all. He wouldn't try to preach to somebody what he learns in the movie like he does here. Second, McQueen wouldn't say stuff like this. Like, he wouldn't keep yelling at him as he's driving away. Like, chill, bro. He said he was gonna take your advice. Goddamn. Lastly, it's just the way he talks. Maybe it's just me, but he sounds like an actor on Disney Channel, like with that patronizing baby voice. Like, it kind of reminds me of the acting in Teen Beach. And even worse, this is just the beginning. It gets much worse from here. Next up, the first stadium race. And Doc and Lightning are having a chat while overlooking the track that's currently being built. Wait, why are they having a race while the track is still under construction? Anyway, the two talk about how progress is going and everything they're planning on building. Then, I shit you not, Doc tells a back in my day story and talks about how lucky McQueen has it, like he's some 1,000-year-old grandpa.
Pretty fancy track. You know what I had to practice on? Dirt. Dirt track, wooden fences.
And you had to drive 12 miles to school in the snow without chains.
Again, this is complete character assassination for Doc. He wouldn't say or do any of this stuff. Doc is the wise mentor character, not the trillion-year-old grandpa character. He would say, "You're doing good, son. I'm proud of you." You know. Also, you might have noticed, Doc isn't voiced by Paul Newman here. He's voiced by Corey Burton, who replaces him as the role of Doc. Kinda contradicts killing Doc in the movie, doesn't it? Also, McQueen is voiced by Keith Ferguson, who voices Lightning in everything that's not the movies, or the first game. After the race, Mater and Lightning are talking in front of a camera, and Lightning gives a summary about the race and some of the racers. I like this detail. Of course, we get funny Mater moments, but it also teaches the kids about some real-life racing, which is nice. Lizzie then slaps McQueen's ass.
Here you go, champ.
Alright, we go to Ornament Valley, where Mater comes to McQueen panicking, saying that he heard a strange noise coming from the valley. Mater thinks it's the ghost slide, and McQueen, in that same patronizing-ass voice, goes,
Really? The ghost slide?
and says that it's probably just Frank. Mater goes, "Nah, Frank sounds like that." And then McQueen goes, "Nah, Frank sounds like that." And then they make weird-ass noises at each other. Sarge comes by and is all, "What in tarnation?" Then that strange noise happens again and scares me. Sarge goes off to investigate it and McQueen follows. Alright, Mater runs all the way down to the Retrospective Stadium to find all of his junker cousins from the last game all staring at something. They're staring at some pink car who's currently racing at the track, completely love-struck. Okay, after the race with the junker cousins, Mater actually talks to the car huzz, because she accidentally fender-bendered him, but still. Her name is Emma, and she's a rally car from England, also participating in the Mater National. Looks like Mater has a thing for British girls. She tells him that she's looking forward to racing Mater in the next race. Did she just wink at Mater? What the fuck? After said race, Emma and Mater meet up, and I shit you not, she straight up asks him on a date.
Well, it's a shame. I've yet to see your wonderful town. Would you give me a tour?
Sure I will. I don't mean to brag, but I know all the best gas stations here in town.
Really?
Oh, yeah, there's Flo's V8 Cafe, and we got, well, that's really the only gas station, actually.
Looks like the British girls have a thing for Mater, too.
I'm Mater's girlfriend.
Yeah, this was funny, but also hard to watch. Yo, if you're a British girl watching this, do y'all think Mater is hot? Wait, hold on. But what about that noise from before? Lightning ended up following Sarge all the way to this cave and find a race car whooping for joy. His shouts were so loud that it was echoing all around Ornament Valley. His name is Goodmund, and he's a rally car from Sweden, participating in the Mater National. He enjoys racing in the dark with those giant lights he has and challenges Lightning to do the same. So Sarge lends him his night vision goggles so he can do just that. Yeah, all this does is slap a filter over the screen when you go into this cave. He doesn't even wear them in the actual race. Alright, after the race, Goodman tells Lightning about the Haunted Hook, a beast made of rusty metal with a giant hook he uses to scare little cars. Lightning tries to introduce Mater to Goodman, and you know what, just watch it. Yeah, so unlike the last cutscene with Otto, this one is actually kind of funny. Alright, next stadium race, and the stadium is looking more complete now. Mater interviews Lightning, asking him how he feels about all this, and makes McQueen cry.
Look, I done made you cry with that last question.
I'm not crying.
Sure you are, right there. A tear.
That's not a tear, that's condensation. It's dew.
There ain't no dew.
Yeah, as you can see, McQueen starts bawling and begging for mercy. After this, we get one more ass slap. Alright, we go to Tailfin Pass, where this red guy and Otto come speeding by. We also see Vince and Sonny lagging behind. Yo, first Lenny, now Barry? What the hell is happening within the friend group? Nah, Cars 4 needs to be about the Queen's gang, that's crazy. Anyway, the red guy is named Koji, and he's a drift racer from Japan. He's come for the Mater National, and after the most unfunny thing Mater has ever done...
Konnichiwa.
Mater, you speak Japanese?
Well, sure, doesn't everybody?
僕は君の友達の大ファンなんだ。僕の友達もみんな彼のことを知ってるよ。もし僕が彼とレースしたらみんな大興奮するだろうな。きっと伝説のレースになるよ。彼は僕の挑戦を受けてくれるかな。
Challenges Lightning to a race. I actually really like Koji. He only speaks Japanese, and it's cool watching McQueen and him become friends despite the language barrier. Also, funny story about Koji. So one time I was playing this game in front of my mom a few years back, and I got to this point in the game with Koji, and she sees this cutscene, and she's like, yo, that's a racist stereotype. And I'm like, what? No, it's not. She's like, nah, did they make the Asian guy drive all crazy? I'm like, what? It was this one line that Mater said that kind of started all that.
Yeah, well, you better hurry up after him before he gets himself into some trouble.
I'm sure Koji isn't supposed to be a jab at Asians, or at least it wasn't the intention. But yeah, Koji has massive aura, for sure. Alright, we actually got 2 stadium races back-to-back coming up. With the stadium finally completed, Giovanni and Lightning are at the starting line, getting the fans hyped for the big race. They do a big ribbon cutting. And that's it. Like the first game, the ending doesn't really have much. Wait, but you said 2 stadium races, right? After that first race, Luigi and Guido beg McQueen and Giovanni to race again, and they have a relay race like they did in Chapter 1. Right now, unlike the first game, the ending isn't actually that bad. They take a group picture in front of Lightning's new clubhouse, which I forgot to mention was also being built along with the stadium. All the racers express how much fun they had. And by all the racers, I mean just Giovanni. Only McQueen and Giovanni really talk in this cutscene. Everyone else either doesn't talk much or doesn't talk at all. But that's kind of my only gripe. There's no cringy dialogue, there's no unfulfilled ending, it's just sweet and heartfelt. And this group picture is definitely a cool wallpaper. There you have it. That's Carsmaternational Championship's story. It's really not that great. It's nowhere near as good as the first game's story. It's kind of like Cars 2. The real only cool thing about this is the bits of real-life racing and car trivia they sprinkle in. A prime example in Cars 2 is Francesco's mom having hair seems like a bad design choice, but the car that she's based off actually does have quote-unquote hair. Examples of little bits of trivia in this game is Otto's races lasting 24 hours or Koji's races being all about technique.
Koji comes to us from the world of drift racing. Although that seems pretty different from my type of racing, it's actually not.
Is that a fact?
As I was saying, drift racing is all about style. You gotta have the technical chops, but if you can't make it look good, then you're missing out on half the equation.
The bits of trivia they sprinkle in is, first off, really cool, but it also teaches the kids a bit about real-life racing, which is a nice plus. Okay, next, I do actually like the side story with Emma and Mater. It's weird, but it's like the funny kind of weird. Also, the ending being somewhat decent actually is a nice relief after the first game's ending with the cringy dialogue. Alright, that's all I have for positives. Okay, the main #1 problem with the story is how it's structured. Each quote-unquote chapter only has 2 to 3 cutscenes. So how it works is, when you first enter an area, there's an intro cutscene showing off the new character, maybe a little funny moment, you know. Then you do 2 to 3 random races that don't have any relevance to the story. Then in the last race in that area, there's a cutscene before and after. One of the many things that made the story in the first game special was that every single race and minigame, even ones that were completely optional, had a cutscene. And these cutscenes weren't just random slop to fill up the game. The cutscenes were actually heartfelt and had a lot of charm. And because of the sparsity of cutscenes in this game, the story just isn't as impactful or memorable like the first game was. Especially since a lot of these new characters that they introduce aren't very interesting. Which brings me to the next point. A lot of these characters are just two-dimensional stereotypes. For example, Otto is that stereotypical need for speed character. He always likes to be fast and ahead of everybody.
No time for seeing, only time for racing.
And Emma is just Mater's love interest.
I'll see you out there.
Like, these guys are nothing compared to like the Queen's Gang or the Delinquent Road Hazards from the last game. Again, all that really boils down to this game not having very many cutscenes and not many chances to hang out with these new guys. But there's one exception to all this, that being Giovanni. Giovanni is basically like Francesco. He's a really good racer in a different race format, and he's supposed to be a real rival for Lightning McQueen. But wait, isn't that supposed to be the case for all of these characters? Aren't they all world champions in their own races, and they're all supposed to be able to rival Lightning McQueen?
Oh, well, let's see. Rally car. Rally champion racer, actually.
Well, yes, but the main problem is the ending. In that ending cutscene where they do the ribbon cutting, only Lightning and Giovanni cut the ribbon. That's not how this should be. How this cutscene should play out is all of the racers are lined up here and they're talking about how excited they are to start racing, and then they all race down to cut the ribbon, not just Lightning and Giovanni. Because of that, this ends up feeling like a race more between Lightning and Giovanni, not between Lightning and all these other guys. And speaking of Lightning, holy shit, Lightning was hella nerfed in this game. McQueen is actually infuriating in this game. His character was completely obliterated in this game. What I liked about Lightning in the first game was that he's shown that he's grown from the movie while still having that cocky, arrogant side that we all fell in love with as kids. But in this game, he's been reduced to a cringy Disney Junior character. In this game, he's all about friendship and unity, you know, hey, let's be friends, but in the worst possible way, especially in how he talks.
What do I have to do to impress folks around here?
And like I said throughout the story, it's not just Lightning. Doc has been reduced to that 1,000-year-old grandpa who hates Gen Z. Mater is as unfunny as ever and appears way too much, like in Cars 2.
My name's Mater, and I've been looking for my manners for years.
And even worse, it only gets worse from here. Alright, lastly, there's no real villain in this story. One thing I praised the first game on is how well they incorporated Chick as a villain. Instead of making him stupid, they made him smart and cunning. And I don't want to sound like a monster, but the lack of any conflict or strife for Lightning to go through makes this story kind of boring. Like, maybe after the third stadium race, Chick could pop up and try to ruin the Mater National with his cheating.
Kachika!
Then maybe in some big final race, Lightning could band together with all his new friends to stop Chick and save the Mater National. Yeah, that sounds really corny, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, in short, this story is literally Cars 2. It's really mid and cringe everywhere except for a few tiny things that don't really matter. Like Cars 2, this game backtracks on a lot of things the previous installment did, such as Lightning and Doc's character. And also like Cars 2, this game doesn't have any real antagonist. Cars 2 has like a pathetic excuse for a twist villain, Mater National has nothing at all. But also like Cars 2, it's not horrible, it's definitely not unwatchable. It's the bare minimum, which is exactly what they're trying to avoid with the first game. So like my video on the last game, this video is going to be split into two major parts. The first part was about the story where I talked about the cutscenes and the characters, and this next part is going to be about the exploration, racing, minigames, and the side content this game has. Basically, the actual game itself. Also like in the first game, everything builds off the exploration mode, so we're going to talk about that first. So, one of the main selling points of the first game was being able to explore Radiator Springs in its entirety and hang out with all the Cars characters. In fact, the devs called the first game a racing adventure game to show that they really wanted the racing and exploration to intertwine. Now, Mater National has exploration aspects too, so obviously it's a racing adventure game as well. Well, I mean, I would say that if they didn't totally backtrack on the adventure part of it. The exploration is basically gone, they might as well have just removed it. You still have the three hub worlds, Radiator Springs, Ornament Valley, and Tailfin Pass, but the catch is you can only explore certain parts of it. For example, in Radiator Springs, if you try to go to the forest from the last game, This big blockade here will stop you from venturing in. So what I'm going to talk about in this section is what they've done to each of the 3 areas and why it sucks. First, before we even start, this is going to sound crazy, but there's no music in the exploration mode. There's only music when you approach one of these event markers, and it's just OST from the first game.
Oh yeah!
Okay, first, for Radiator Springs, the path into the forest, as I mentioned earlier, Willie's Butte, and the canyons are blocked. You can't go anywhere past Sarge's Boot Camp or the Radiator Cap Rock. So that only leaves the town, which is basically nothing. The town is still recreated perfectly like it was in the first game, so I'll give them that. And you can explore it at night too, which is even better. Okay, next is Ornament Valley, which is definitely the weirdest out of them all. First off, in the exploration mode, it's only nighttime here, which I guess is okay. But guess what? They slapped a whole ass airport in the middle of the valley. Why? That doesn't make any sense. This airport should take 10 times longer to build than this dumbass stadium. Wait a minute. What the hell is Casa de la Tires doing here? Is this supposed to be some quality of life change? You could teleport to these places in the last game. But this is just weird. There's just lone buildings from Radiator Springs that stick out like sore thumbs. Okay, lastly, Telephone Path. Yeah, it's just Wheelwell. All included was Wheelwell and some of the streets behind it, and this random cave. They also redid that one secret path next to the last bridge from the first game. They basically made it just a part of the map and not a secret pathway, so whatever. But yeah, all the stuff that made Telephone Pass cool from the first game is gone. No mine, no waterfalls, no mountains, and worst of all, no fucking Telephone Pass music. Again with Casa de la Tires, bro, oh my god. Okay, one more thing before we go on to the next segment. You might have noticed that McQueen is a monster truck. At the end of Chapter 1, before the stadium race, there's a little side quest to do in order to unlock the stadium race. The story here is Lightning wants to become the monster truck he was from the last game, and asks Luigi if he still has the parts to do so. Luigi apparently lost them out in the desert, so Lightning borrows Sarge's metal detector and sets out to find them. It's basically like hot cold. There's this little radar on the corner that tells you if you're close or not, and you gotta press the button to find it. It's a fun little detour, I guess. You then unlock a harder version of this where Mater wants to become a monster truck too.
Hey, Mater.
Hey, buddy, what?
There's 6 parts instead of 3, and they're much better hidden. When you beat this, you're able to play as Monster McQueen in the exploration mode. I wish I could say this was cool, but the monster trucks control a lot worse than the other characters, so it feels more annoying than cool. Also, it's totally not worth beating both levels because the cutscene for beating them both is actually dumb.
It would have been fine after you took off those tires.
But I ain't never taking these off. Never! Tyrannosaurus Rex!
Alright, this section might be a bit long because the racing has certainly changed since the last game. The controls remain the same. You can still gas, brake, steer, power slide, tilt. The boost meter is still there too. The broken and overpowered mechanics still exist too. You can still power slide, boost, and tilt turn from the last game. So I don't repeat myself from the last video, I'll keep descriptions of these bugs short. Power sliding is basically like drifting from Mario Kart, and if you chain tiny drifts on straightaways, you can infinitely build up speed. And for tilting, the intention was to be sort of a risk-reward way of taking sharp turns, where you can completely eliminate the risk by doing short bursts of tilting instead of one large tilt. You won't lose as much speed. Also, like in the last game, it works differently with each character, but I'll get into that later. Where the racing really changes from the last game is the tracks. One thing I shit on the last game for was the tracks being really boring because they all took place within the exploration mode map. But with this game, it's kinda sorta not the case anymore with this racing. In some of the tracks, these barriers are gone and the tracks go into these blocked off areas. Using the example from the last section, you can venture into the forest that was blocked off in the track Fillmore's Nature Preserve. That just further begs the question, why restrict the exploration mode so much? Why are these stupid barriers here if there's fully programmed stuff past them? So since these tracks don't take place within the exploration mode map anymore, the tracks are a lot more interesting now in this game. Like a lot more. Some of my favorites are Inside the Turkey because of all the branching pathways within the course, North Willie's Butte because of these big tornadoes that slow you down if you run into them, the Upper Mine because there's a lot of cool stuff here like an abandoned village and a reworked mine shaft, and lastly Wheelwell Circuit or Team Relay 3 because of this crazy jump at the end of the course. The tracks here are certainly much better than the ones in the first game. They're much more memorable and in general a lot cooler. The only tracks I would say are kind of boring are the stadium races, just because they're just boring ass racetracks. One thing I praised the first game on is the Piston Cup races being cool as fuck because they felt like real NASCAR races. They really made you feel like you're in a stadium. In this game, the stadium races are the same as road races. There's no added rules or pit stops. It's just like everything else in this game. Except, oh, you're racing against the competitors now. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. Okay, next. As you heard me talk about in the story, there's relay races now. Yeah, these are just the bare minimum. My biggest problem with these is you can't play these in co-op. So what's the point of this even existing if you can't play this in co-op? Also, nothing really changes except, oh, you're playing as this guy now. It's not interesting. Okay, one last thing. One of the biggest problems in the last game was that it was way too easy. They added a secret hard mode and even that was too easy. That game's biggest flaw was fixed in this game, in more ways than one. First off, this game has 3 default difficulties instead of 2. Rookie, Pro, and Champion? Or Easy, Normal, and Hard. And this time, it isn't just Easy, Less Easy, and Secret Easy. These difficulties actually live up to their name. Champion mode is actually difficult, and you'll need to actually try if you want to win. Also yes, Champion mode isn't a secret difficulty like it was in the last game. It's unlocked by default. To unlock the secret difficulty in this game, you have to type VRYFAST, or very fast, into the cheat codes, and you unlock Expert mode, which is supposed to be an impossible mode. And Expert mode is definitely really hard. Also, yeah, there's cheat codes in this game too. Here they all are. Here's what they do. Okay, so how difficulties in this game work is each computer player has a hidden assigned difficulty stat called an ALOD level. Determines how fast and how smart they are. And the higher the difficulty setting, the higher the ALOD level. What Expert mode does is basically ignore this rule and set every computer player's ALOD level to the highest amount possible, which makes all the computer players extremely fast and extremely smart, often holding the max speed for long periods of time. Expert mode is a hell of a challenge. I remember trying it for the first time a while back. It took me multiple tries for each course to win, even the first one. If you ever try it yourself, here's a tip. The Expert mode AI slow down on every turn, so master taking turns really well and you'll win. But for the casual player playing this game for the first time, Pro mode is definitely a good difficulty. It's not too hard, but messing up hard will definitely cost you. While making this video, I actually played on Pro mode. There's actually one more crazy thing they did to make the game harder. Remember how they nerfed the fuck out of Lightning McQueen in the story? Well, they nerfed him stat-wise too. In fact, he's the worst character in the game. Yeah, McQueen absolutely sucks in this game. Low acceleration, bad drift stat, bad steering stat. Most other characters are better than him. Mater, Doc, Fillmore, fucking Flo is faster than him. Nah, McQueen was fading long before Cars 3.
Hey, McQueen, you alright? Listen, don't you worry, pal. You had a good run.
Yeah, they definitely overfixed the problem from the last game. They didn't have to make McQueen, the main character, suck ass in his own game. That's just diabolical, and it's certainly not how you fix the problem. Also, McQueen doesn't get much speed from power sliding, so he can't power boost well like he does in the last game, so he's bottom tier in speedrunning. The problem was already fixed when they made the game harder and added expert mode for people who hate themselves. McQueen doesn't have to be the undisputed meta, but he shouldn't be an F-tier character. Even in games like Mario Kart, main characters like Mario and Luigi have always been at least decent. Nah, I think someone at Rainbow Studios must hate Lightning McQueen because he got done dirty multiple times in this game. The difficulty was definitely a huge problem in the last game, but they went overkill, not just with Lightning, but even a bit with Expert mode. This is like extremely hard. Also, yeah, and then the reason why Expert mode is so hard is because you're forced to play as Lightning McQueen, who is the worst character in the game now, so that just makes it 10 times harder. Also, in case you're wondering, the best character in this game is Goodman. He gains the most speed from power sliding, meaning he can abuse the power slide bug the best, so he's the undisputed meta in this game. So in short, the racing is the polar opposite of the last game. The last game was easy, tedious, and boring, while this game is genuinely challenging and fun to play. So, The difficulty problem was definitely fixed, but like I said before, they went overkill. Expert mode is virtually impossible, and they didn't have to make Lightning McQueen suck. Wait. Is that Lenny? Yo, what? Lenny's not dead? Wait, I get it. I understand it all. After getting humbled by Lightning McQueen in the first game, he realized that the Queez gang was holding him back, so he left. He started training in secret, training constantly. He dethroned Koji as the drift race champion in Japan so he could take his place in the International and challenge Lightning once more. Using his newfound skill and his immense training, he managed to blaze past everybody, just finishing second place. During Lenny's training, he developed a sense of honor and recognized Lightning McQueen as the real goat of racing after losing once more, and vowed to never show his face in Radiator Springs again. I'm telling you, please, Pixar, make Cars 4 about the Queen's gang. Make some kind of short or something about these guys. We need something about these guys. Please, I'm begging you. These group of dorks might be the best characters in fiction, I'm telling you. So like the first game, this game has a slew of mini-games that are unlocked through playing the story. They're all completely optional and don't add anything to the storyline or the gameplay. But unlike the last game, most of these mini-games aren't about the side characters. You play as Lightning McQueen in most of them. One thing I really liked about the first game was that all the mini-games starred side characters like Luigi or Sheriff or Guido. They gave all the Radiator Springs crew a chance to shine in their own mini-games. Alright, so this section's going to be the same jizz as last time. We're going to talk about each minigame and put it on a tier list here. And of course, the first minigame is tractor tipping, the running gag of the whole Cars franchise. It's pretty much exactly the same as the last game. You gotta go around the map, find all the tractors while dodging Frank and these searchlights. The controls are the same too. You use the analog stick to move Mater around, or gyro controls for the Wii. They even copy and pasted that same game over cutscene from the last game. So what exactly makes this different from Cars the Video Games version? Well, first off, there's no music, like in the exploration mode. But also, there are a ton of new mechanics that make this much more interesting. In level 2, we see this wheel that raises the water level of nearby rivers here and raises planks that you can use as bridges to cross. In level 3, we see these bushes that only Frank can cut down by running through them. And lastly, speaking of Frank, Frank's AI has been improved. He listens to noise and is able to follow you. And according to the in-game tips, there are these patches of gravel that make noise when you drive over them, and Frank listens out for them.
Don't go too fast on that gravel stuff. Frank will hear you making all that crunch.
Now, this all seems really cool until you learn that there's only 3 levels, versus the last game which had 8. Dude, that is such a shame. These new mechanics combined with old ones from the last game could make for some crazy levels. And I thought Countdown Cleanup was missed potential. So, B tier. There's too few levels, no music, fun mechanics, but they're underused because only 3 levels. Alright, next up, Fillmore's Fuel Frenzy, unlocked after beating the race Fillmore's Nature Preserve. So how this works is, you race on one of the game's tracks, but with a twist. You'll notice all these fuel cans scattered all over the track, and you'll also notice this fuel gauge here. The fuel gauge is rapidly going down, and it goes up by collecting these fuel cans. You can collect each one of these fuel cans once per lap, and the more you collect one, the less fuel it gives you. You gotta complete 3 laps with these added rules in order to win, and there's a level for every track in the game. This game ain't too bad actually. It's a neat little challenge. Speaking of challenges, this game actually gets harder on expert mode. Instead of 3 laps, you need 4 laps to win, and the AI can collect fuel cans now too, so you have to stay ahead of them. And they're blazing fast because it's on expert mode. So A tier, definitely a neat little challenge. Next up, Doc and the Law's Race and Chase, which is also unlocked in Chapter 1. This game is basically tag and capture the flag combined. You play against an AI and have to touch them before they reach their base. Once you touch them, you have to run back to your base and make sure that they don't touch you back. This game is pretty simple, but it ain't bad. The AI are actually smart, which adds to the challenge, and I'm not entirely sure, but I think they're faster on expert mode too. There's 9 levels this time versus Tractor Tipping's 3, which is certainly good, and Barry is the final boss at level 9, which I approve of. It's still a bit too easy though. The AI don't know how to reverse, so it's easy to get them stuck behind a tree or a building. Also, Vince appears twice, which is lazy. A tier. It's a fine minigame, but it's not perfect. Next up is Ghosting Mater, which is unlocked after beating the first 3 levels of Race and Chase. Now, if you're a normal person, you're probably thinking, ooh, they made a game about that one short. But if you're a fucking nerd, you're thinking, wasn't this in the first game? Yes, it was in the first game. The second level of Ghosting Mater was in the Wii and 360 ports of the first game. They put it in as a sneak peek for Mater National, which was probably in development at the time. Anyways, the story here is that this takes place after tractor tipping, and Sheriff is telling Mater not to go into those fields. He scares Mater into thinking the ghost light haunts those fields and attaches the lantern from the short on his hook. So how this game works is you have to guide Mater to his home, but the twist is that every control except your steering is disabled. Mater gains speed by driving over these white circles, and you have to steer him into the next one to keep him moving. If Mater stops moving, then you lose, and he realizes that Sheriff was tricking him. There are 6 levels total, and they actually pose somewhat of a challenge. The levels get longer, and the circles are more further apart. Pro tip, don't turn too much, because Mater slows down when he takes turns, so try to be as straight as you can. So you know what? S tier. This game is unique, challenging, and interesting. Next up, Ramon's Rhythmic Rumble, which is also in Chapter 1. Everything's unlocked in Chapter 1. Now, this game is weird, because it's a rhythm game. The songs are just OST from the first game, or there's one song that's a remix of OST from the first game, but yeah, these are definitely not rhythm game worthy. The songs in this game are relaxing vibes, not fast-paced rhythm game jargon. Anyway, so how this game works is it's basically Guitar Hero. If you ever wanted to play Cars Guitar Hero, then this game is for you. But yeah, C tier. A rhythm game is really out of place in a racing game. Plus, I hate rhythm games, so fuck you. Alright, one last minigame. But before I talk about it, let me give you some context. Remember the end credits scene in the first movie where they showed other Pixar movies in car form? One of them was Monster Trucks Inc., which is the Cars version of Monsters Inc., which included car versions of Mike Wazowski and James P. Sullivan. Well, they decided to put those guys in this game as a collab with Monsters Inc. and give them their own minigame. Mike and Sully's Last Laugh, unlocked after you complete the Monster Truck side quest and unlock Ornament Valley. How this game works is you play as Mike or Sully, and you have to collect scream canisters that spawn around the map. The player that collects the most within the time limit wins. In the story, you play as Mikey against an AI Sully. There's also these portals that teleport you around the map, and of course the AI know how to use them. There are in total 4 levels, and you play on sections of different tracks. Also, like in Fuel Frenzy and Race and Chase, it gets harder on Expert mode. Sully moves a lot faster and is able to use his boost meter. But it's also kinda easier on Expert mode. Sometimes Sully moves so fast that he loses control and overshoots the scream canister, and he can get stuck easier, like look at this. Alright, honestly, the only cool thing about this game is the Monsters Inc. coat of paint. Now, I like Monsters Inc. as much as the next guy, but this game is boring. Like, why can't we have a game where they do some scaring, or maybe instead of a minigame, maybe a track that takes place in the monster world? Like, that would be sick. So, C tier. The only thing cool about this is the Monsters Inc. theme. This game is hella boring. Alright, that's all of Mater National's minigames, and honestly, I like the first game's minigames better. Don't get me wrong, I like these minigames too, especially Ghosting Mater and Fuel Frenzy, but most of these games don't star side characters or have unique music. These games don't have any personality like the last games did. These minigames feel like soulless afterthoughts rather than thoughtful additions to the game. Like, for example, tractor tipping from the last game might not have as many gimmicks or mechanics, but the levels look really good, and the blues music definitely suits that stealth aspect. Also, yeah, there's 8 levels instead of 3. I'm really mad this only has 3 levels. Even minigames I didn't like as much, like Luigi to the Rescue, have that charm due to little details like the goofy Italian music and the little things Luigi says throughout the game. Mater National's minigames feel like they were added out of necessity rather than wanting to expand the Cars universe. So this section's supposed to be about any little extra stuff they put in, but this game doesn't have much. There's no deleted scenes, no optional races, no secrets unlocked with cheat codes, no nothing. Well, except one thing, maybe. There are these different colored wheels scattered around the 3 maps, and if you collect 4 of them, you get a new wheel cosmetic for Lightning. I think this is supposed to replace the postcard quest from the last game, but you can unlock all the wheel stuff with cheat codes, so what's the point, especially with the lack of exploration. The arcade mode still exists, but it's the same as the last game. The character roster is much better, still no Queen's Gang though. There's of course cool cosmetic stuff like skins for everybody, which is nice. There's also concept art like the last game had. There's not much to say without repeating myself from the last video. Everything is pretty much the same. The only really big thing they removed is the deleted scenes. Oh, fun fact, there's leftover code for a time trials mode that never made it into the game. Well, that's it. That's all of Cars Mater National Championship. This game is like Cars 2. It's the awkward middle child of the Cars 1 video games. It even has Mater in it. The story is mid as hell and forgets about everything the first game did. McQueen is hella annoying, and these new characters are boring and forgettable. Except Koji, I liked Koji.
見てなかったの？
Now, the exploration mode being removed does stink really bad, but it depends on what you're looking for in this game. If you just want a fun, solid racing game, then it doesn't really matter. But if you're like me and love cars and the first Cars game and everything they stand for, it's gonna really sting. The racing is, honestly, really good. It's fun, it's memorable, and more importantly, it poses a real challenge to skilled gamers while having an easy mode for babies. The minigames aren't bad at all, but they're soulless. No personality or memorability. Monsters Inc. thing was cool, but that's because it sticks out because it's Monsters Inc. And the cherry on top, very little, almost no bonus content to play around with. This game is literally the polar opposite of the first game. In the first game, everything was good except the racing. But for this game, everything except the racing is bad. Now, is this game completely horrible? No. Like I said throughout this video, there are definitely things I like about it. The big main problem with this whole game is that it focuses more on being a racing game rather than a cars game. Where the first game shined is its crazy attention to detail and the immense amount of fan service they put into this game. This game is none of that. It's basically just a racing game. It's not a cars game. Or in other words, it's the bare minimum.
I'm also the town doctor, so calm down, son, before you rupture something. Then I gotta fix you up.
Hey, yo,
Oh, that would be brilliant!
thank you, Lightning McQueen, for coming by and bringing us up to speed on the races. Hey, everybody, I get free snacks at the sandbox.
There you have it. You can't go back without a nice gift for Jenny.
Nein, Jenny would not like that.
No, she wouldn't. Are you crazy?
I'm not crazy, I'm stupid, Nick!
No snacks!
The haunted him! You stupid, Nick!
Hey, you made it to the end of the video, and I gotta say, thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching. These games and movies were a key part of my childhood. It was really great looking at this game with fresh eyes. And yes, Cars 1 has one more tie-in game, that being carsraceorama, and I definitely have a lot to say about it. If this video hits, let's say 5,000 views, then I'll make a Raceorama video. And of course, if you have any thoughts on this game or disagree with anything I said, please leave a comment. I'll read, like, and heart any comments. Alright, that's all. Again, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day or night.